Hey, how are you? I am Chris Robin, aka at Detroit Beastie, here with Fantasy Six Pack to talk about Sunday Night Football. The Atlanta Falcons head to Washington to battle the Commanders. Kickoff is at 8:20 p.m., and this sucker sits at an over/under of about 46 points, and it's going to be a battle: the NFC East versus the NFC South. Now, there are massive playoff implications to this game, right? As we know, the Philadelphia Eagles have already locked up a playoff spot. They're leading the NFC East, and that's nothing crazy there. There's one spot left in the NFC playoffs, and right now, Washington holds that last wild card spot, while Atlanta, at the time of this recording, right? Let's say it's early Sunday afternoon. They're leading the NFC South, but unfortunately, Tampa Bay is putting an absolute hurting on Carolina. So, with their records tied, Atlanta and Tampa Bay at the time of this recording. Nothing's final. I hate to keep saying at the time of this recording, but Atlanta's going to have to win the division to make the playoffs. That means they're going to have to win out, get some help, and we'll go from there. So this one is exciting, and who would have thought that the Atlanta Falcons were going to be not even in they're in the thick of the playoff race with Michael Penix Jr. as their quarterback. Remember all the folks who made fun of the Atlanta GM? Why would you just signed Kirk Cousins to this big-time whatever contract it was. He's benched because he couldn't see the field, and he's throwing all these interceptions. Michael Penix Jr. is getting another start for the Falcons in the thick of the playoff race, and that'll help you grow up quick. While on the opposite side, Jaden Daniels has been fantastic, literally since day one for the Washington Commanders, and they are 10-5 right now. Atlanta 8-7. So we shall see. Before I get into the video, I'm going to be quick here. Your seasonal fantasy season is probably done. Fingers crossed you won a bunch of championships, you got a bunch of cash, you spend it on your friends and family. Just think about sprinkling some back into the website here, Fantasy Six Pack, and joining the discords, right? The premium channels, or getting the rankings and all the access that Fantasy Six Pack has to offer. And as I told everybody live Sunday morning, me and Keith and whatever other DFS minds want to get together, you're more than welcome to pop on with Keith and I, but we're going through the playoffs with this thing. We're DFS videos, DFS slate breakdowns, and again, we're going all the way through to the playoffs. So going to be some time before you say bye to us. When we get back to this game, as I said, Falcons 8-7, Washington 10-5, 8:20 p.m. Playoff atmosphere for the Commanders and the Falcons. Let's dig into this game, but I might do the beginning of the video a little bit different than most. Not like a recap, but kind of setting the tone. Always looking for different ways to broadcast or to break through the mundaneness or I don't think I talk monotone, but you get what I'm saying. Break the monotony. That's what I'm saying. We get in, we get out, and we'll go from there. This time around, I have some offensive ranks for Atlanta, defensive ranks for Washington, and we'll go from there. The Atlanta Falcons offense right now averaging 21.8 points a game. That's good enough for 20th in the NFL. And the new Atlanta starting quarterback, Michael Penix Jr., passed for 240 yards last week, 1 INT, but it looked more of a balanced attack for the Falcons than normal. Bijan is a stone cold stud, just shy of under 1,200 rushing yards, 10 total touchdowns on the ground, averaging 4.6 yards a carry. Drake London is their anchor, their stud at wide receiver, 978 total receiving yards, 7 touchdowns, and the Falcons rank 9th in total offense, around 360, we'll round up, 361 yards a game on average, but they've had their issues with third downs and in the red zone. Defensively, the Falcons are giving up around 23.3 points a game. That's like 19th overall in the NFL. Not awesome, not horrible, just right there in the middle. Solid against the run, though. They're only giving up around 112 yards a game on the ground, but struggle against the pass. They're giving up 223.4 yards a game in the air. They've only around 26 sacks, actually 26 sacks this season. They don't get to the quarterback. That's dead last in football. Jaden Daniels will have a bunch of time here, only picked off the ball 11 times. So if Atlanta wants any hope at beating the Commanders, you're going to have to get to Jaden Daniels, and they haven't done that so far this season. And again, hopefully this you receive this all well, because I got some notes on my screen and I'm reading as I go. 5 minutes in, and this time it'll make it easier to just get in and out with the players' projections, final score, recent betting trends, and guess what? We'll get the heck out of here. Washington ranks 4th in scoring, averaging around 28.8 points a game. Jaden Daniels thrown for just over 3,300 yards, 22 touchdowns. He's rushed for 128 yards and 6 more scores. Scary Terry is finally scary again. Just over 1,000 receiving yards, 12 touchdowns. And they have a more balanced attack this year, hammering the ball on the ground if need be with Brian Robinson Jr., who I think it needs to be locked in our lineups tonight. And when you look at what they do in total offense, they're 5th overall in the NFL, 3rd in rushing yards per game at 152.7. Defensively, that's where Washington's going to have to make their hay, not only today and in the playoffs if they want to make any noise in the NFC. Washington allowing 23.2 points a game, 18th overall in the NFL, but they're extremely good against the pass. They only give up around 185 point yards a game, 4th in the NFL. Pass rush, they got 39 total sacks, good for 10th overall in the NFL. They struggle against the run, though, 137.4 yards a game, 30th in football. That's why both B-Robs, Brian Robinson Jr., Bijan Robinson Jr., need to be locked in our lineups. All right, enough with the nonsense. Let's talk about player projections here. When you look at Jaden Daniels, the Falcons, 26th overall against opposing quarterbacks. I already ran through what Atlanta does and does not do well. They don't pressure the quarterback. Jaden Daniels should be able to sit back, throw for 240, 250 yards, 2 touchdown passes, and I think he racks up upwards of 50 yards on the ground, 9 to 10 carries. On the flip side, Michael Penix Jr., Washington's 10th overall against quarterbacks. And again, Keith said this in the morning broadcast. Too bad, that they didn't put Michael Penix in, a game earlier. It would have started in Vegas in a dome. His second game as a starting quarterback will be in Washington against a loudmouth fan base and team, which is you could call, you're a loudmouth, and it's in a good way. You want your fans to be loud. We'll see what this kid has going. 19 to 20 completions, around 220 yards. I think he throws his first touchdown of his career, and you're looking at 3 to 4 carries for around 10 yards. When we look at the running backs here, as I said, it's both B-Rob Jr. Why even bother trying to disseminate which one is which? Let's play both of them. I have both of them locked for a touchdown on the ground. Brian Robinson Jr., 16 to 17 carries, 65 to 70 yards. That touchdown locked in. 2 to 3 receptions for around 20 yards. When we look at Bijan, 17 to 18 carries, around 80 yards, a locked-in touchdown on the ground, 2 to 3 receptions for around 20 to 25 yards. Could say 25 to 30. Again, it wouldn't be a video if I didn't say let's be a little overly ambitious. So B-Rob, you're looking at around 120 all-purpose yards for him. Both B-Rob Juniors score touchdowns. When we look at the wide receivers, Terry McLaurin, Drake London, Darnell Mooney, all three are very much in play. And when you look at Terry, 6 to 7 receptions, 75 to 80 yards. Drake London, 6 to 7 catches for about 65 to 70 yards. Darnell Mooney, 4 to 5 catches for around 50 yards. I think the sneaky move here could be the key that unlocks the whole slate for us or anybody that's watching this video. Olamide Zacharias, that's how you say his name. Probably get killed in the comments, so I'll just say Olamide Z, and we'll go from there. He's only $7,500 on FanDuel. Atlanta 30th overall against opposing wide receivers, and if Jaden Daniels is going to throw for 2 touchdowns, why not one to him? One to Terry, one to OZ. I'll call him the OZ, right? You're looking at 5 to 6 targets, 3 to 4 receptions, and around 40 yards. Zach Ertz and OZ, I think that could be that 1-2 punch. I said OZ was the ticket. Zach Ertz could be that guy too. Both of those Washington pass catchers, right? And Zach Ertz, 5 to 6 targets, 4 to 5 receptions, around 40 yards. And also, lastly, how can I say Maybe I spoke too soon. It's not, I don't sit down and prepare. I don't run the video through and then go, now I'll record. I click record at one take most times and we get through this sucker. But I have a sneaking suspicion about the Washington kicker as well. Zane Gonzalez, $9,000 on FanDuel, be more than involved here. I have Zane 3 for 3 extra points. We could see a case where Zane kicks 3 field goals as well. So you're looking at a ton of points for a kicker in a game where everybody's going to think it's high flying. It's going to be wide receivers and the B-Rob twins, however you want to put it. But to me, OZ and ZG, that combo, the kicker and the Washington wide receiver, that's my 1-2 punch, in flex spots. Obviously, MVP captain's got to be Jaden Daniels in cash games. But if you're going to play in some GPPs, which, I primarily make these videos for, I would look at OZ in an MVP captain spot, and why not toss in ZG, Zane Gonzalez too. That could be MVP captain and the rest flex, and we'll see what we get. It's week, it's later in the season. It's getting weird. It's going to take more than normal to get over the hump into the cash line or to outright win one of those big GPP suckers, because little is left to chance. You just max an entry, and whatever happens, happens. You throw a dart at the board, and boop, up. There it is. OZ is my MVP captain. When we look at some recent betting trends, Atlanta 1-4-1 against the spread their last 6 games. Washington 2-4 against the spread their last 6 games. The over has hit in 5 of Washington's last 7 games, and the under, though, has come in 6 of Atlanta's last 7. Both teams are exciting. They're young. They should be good for the foreseeable future. Maybe Washington more so than Atlanta, but who cares about the future? Let's look for tonight. Sunday Night Football. Washington wins this one 31-24, and the rest is left up to history. Washington will punch their ticket to the postseason and do some damage. It's going to be exciting once the playoffs hit, and I will be here for you to talk all DFS and sports betting that you can think of or get your hands on. Washington wins 31-24. Be good, be safe. Don't forget, both B-Rob Jr. guys locked for touchdowns on the ground. Bye-bye.